The common room felt colder than usual. The flickering torchlight cast restless shadows against the stone walls, making them seem alive, shifting, watching. But it wasn't the darkness that unsettled me. It was the whisper. My name had curled through the air like a breath against my ear. Low, almost delicate, if not for the weight behind it. It wasn't an echo or a trick of exhaustion. It knew me. Sebastian was standing close, studying me in that way he did when he knew something was wrong but was waiting for me to say it first. The silence stretched between us, thick with everything I wasn't ready to say. I wanted to believe it was nothing, that I had imagined it, but I knew better.
Eveleigh hadn't spoken since we stepped inside. That alone made my stomach twist. She wasn't the kind to be easily shaken, but now, she looked like she had just walked out of a nightmare she couldn't wake from. I didn't like it. I didn't like how she wouldn't meet my eyes, or how she stood too still, as if bracing for something. Something had happened. What happened?
I heard something, a whisper. It said my name.
What?
It was not a person, not a voice I recognized.
What did it sound like?
Like, it's been waiting.
Then you're staying with me tonight.
Sebastian.
No arguments. You're not being alone with this.
I should have pushed back, told him he was overreacting, but I didn't. Because the truth was, I didn't want to be alone. Not tonight. Sebastian's hand found mine, his fingers wrapping around my wrist, anchoring me. He didn't say another word as he led me toward the dormitory corridor. The castle was eerily quiet, the usual soft murmur of students and the distant crackle of fireplaces swallowed by the hush of midnight. Each step closer to his door, the weight pressing against my chest loosened. By the time we stepped inside, the tension still lingered, but it was different now, muted, softened by his presence.
I shut the door behind us, watching as she stood in the middle of my room, arms wrapped around herself. I'd seen Eveleigh furious, stubborn, emotional. But this was different. She was afraid, and that did something to me. I stepped closer, carefully, as if she might slip through my fingers if I moved too fast. You're safe here. Whatever this is, it can't touch you while you're with me.
You don't know that.
I do, because I won't let it.
Sebastian.
Just stay. Let me keep you safe.
The words settled something inside me, something that had been unraveling since the moment I heard my name whispered in the dark. I sat down on the edge of his bed, the weight of exhaustion finally creeping in. He didn't hesitate before sitting beside me, his shoulder brushing mine. It was such a simple thing, but it steadied me more than I wanted to admit.
She didn't flinch when I reached for her, threading my fingers through hers. Her pulse was steady beneath my touch, but she was tense, like she was waiting for something to break. I wasn't sure when I had stopped thinking of her as just someone I trusted. Maybe it had been gradual, something creeping up on me like a slow-burning fire. Or maybe it had always been there, waiting for me to see it. Last night, it wasn't enough. I don't want this to be some reckless moment we pretend never happened.
I never wanted to pretend.
Then be mine, for real. No more second-guessing. No more pretending like we don't know where this is leading.
Sebastian.
I mean it. I've wanted you for longer than I care to admit. I don't just want one night. I want you, all of you.
You already have me.
Then say it. Say you're mine.
I'm yours. The moment the words left my lips, his lips were on mine. Urgent yet controlled, as if he had been holding back for too long. His hands found my waist, pulling me against him as he deepened the kiss, his breath warm against my skin. I felt my body melt into his, my fingers tangling in his hair as he guided us back onto the bed. The weight of his body pressing against mine made my pulse race, heat spreading through every inch of me. He kissed me like he was memorizing me, like he wanted to carve this moment into his soul and never let it go. And I let him, let myself get lost in the way he touched me, the way he held me like I was something fragile and precious, and yet something he wanted to claim as his. The space between us disappeared, the last remnants of hesitation burning away under the weight of the unspoken feelings we had been carrying for so long. His hands roamed over me, slow and reverent, as if he was discovering something he had always longed for. Every touch, every kiss, sent a fire coursing through me that I never wanted to extinguish.
She was everything. Every sigh, every whispered name against my lips. It was all her. She moved against me like we had always belonged this way, like she had been waiting for this moment just as much as I had. I didn't rush. I didn't want to. I wanted to take my time, to savor the feeling of her beneath me, to drown in the warmth of her skin and the way she whispered my name like it was something sacred. By the time we finally lay still, her breath warm against my chest, I felt something settle inside me, something permanent, something unbreakable.
Wrapped in his arms, I listened to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, letting it lull me into a rare, quiet peace. The whispers would come again. I knew they would. But for tonight, they couldn't touch me. Not here. Not with him.
She fell asleep on my chest, her body curled into mine like she was meant to be there. I traced absent patterns along her back, listening to the quiet hum of her breathing, steady and safe. I didn't know what was coming next, what the whispers meant, or what darkness was waiting just beyond our reach. But I did know one thing. Nothing would take her from me. If the world wanted to come for her, if something in the shadows was waiting, then I would stand in front of it, meet it head on, and destroy it before it even had the chance to reach her. She was mine now, and I would never let her go.